The story of Paco the Betrayed. Paco is a guy who has a great life, and he enjoys his life. He has a beautiful wife and 3 children. He's only 29 years old and already has his own successful company. He earns a tons of money, lives in a luxurious house with 3 pets, a dog, a cat, and a toucan. He lives in Liverpool, in the United Kingdom. Suffice to say that he is living the high life. Every day he will wake up at around 10 p.m. and will go to his local bakery and get some bagels and coffee. After coffee and bagels, he'll go to his office in his company building. It seemed like all of his employees liked him. Perhaps they were just sucking up to him, but Paco never really gave him much thought. Anyway, when you come up to his office, he would turn on his very expensive computer, call up his friends, and play some video games. Then when he has downtime between important meetings, it felt like his company was just running on autopilot for the most part. Oh man. Look now, when he would go home after his so-called work, he would come to his home to see his happy kids playing in his house, eating some of his wife's cooking, and later have sex with her. What else would you do? And he was also offered a position on the city council, Congress, and was planning to run for prime minister. What a guy. Sorry for the inconvenience. It seems that I slipped into quite a weird accent. Let us now continue with the story. It seemed like his whole life was just plain lucky. Maybe he didn't win the lottery when he would put in a ticket, but otherwise you might say he won the life lottery. Pretty much everything was going right. One day, he woke up during the weekend and went to play with his dog, but he didn't want to play. Paco went to play with the cat, but the cat would just run away. Then he went to play with his toucan, but it also just didn't want to play with him. Paco thought to himself, perhaps it's a bad day for playing. He commented on that to his wife. She said, weird. Usually they always want to play. They both continued their normal routines, so Paco played some games with friends. On Sunday, a few friends called up Paco, and they went out drinking. All of them got hammered. He came home drunk, went to sleep, and when he woke up, he continued his weekly routine. A few weeks passed, and still Paco's pets don't want to play with him. He tried everything, but he couldn't do it. They just wouldn't play with him. So he stopped trying so hard to make them play with him. Maybe they just didn't like him anymore. So as the weeks passed, he kept going to work. But now as the days went by, every time he would see his employees, they all seemed to be more agitated when they would see him. He thought nothing of it, and continued to play video games with his friends. As more and more time passed, it seemed like the employees had hate in their eyes every time they would see Paco. After a few months, Paco would talk to his friends, but now more and more of them would be busy. His birthday comes around, and Paco has a grand party. Many of his friends show up, and they all had a great time. Now, 30 years old, it seemed that none of his friends had time for him. No more Sunday nights out, no more playing with his pets, and for some reason his employees didn't like him. Paco still wasn't really concerned and didn't think much of it. Until 6 months later, a court case was filed against Paco. He was rightly shocked because he didn't do anything wrong. The charges were rape, murder, manslaughter, and drunk driving. These outrageous charges made the company's stocks drop sharply, and many of the workers had to be fired. Now Paco was on trial. His company quickly went bankrupt. His pets died. His wife thought that the charges were true, so she started telling his kids that he was a very bad man, and they shouldn't talk to him. The trial day came, and the jury swiftly said that Paco was guilty. He couldn't believe it. In a matter of 2 weeks, everything he had in his life, all of his life achievements, went to hell. Now he was not only in jail, but getting divorced. After the divorce, he lost absolutely everything. He didn't have a house, family, pets, job, nor did he have any money. He spent the next 20 years in jail, after which he was sentenced to life in exile. Why? He didn't know, but all that was said to him that he was considered a traitor of the state and was to be exiled. He was sent to a deserted island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. He lived there off the island, on the deserted island, for a year and a half. Then another 2 years. Then another 5 years. All this time, he thought to himself, things were gonna get better. He never left his ideological, optimistic views. Until after 8.5 years, he just broke. After being there for so long, he learned many tricks to surviving, crafting, and so on. So he started building something of a grand scale that brought a tear to his eye. He spent weeks setting it up. Now, finally, he was ready to use his creation. He stood on a high ledge of the island's steep drop, tied a rope around a tree branch. Betrayed by his family and country, he was about to commit suicide. Then he stopped himself and said, "What are you doing? There's no need for this. You'll pull through." He finally put himself in his place and realized there is nothing he can't do. He is ready to turn the tides. The grand thing he made was a spike trap, in case he failed to hang himself. Now, he used those spikes to make a makeshift boat and a paddle. He set out on his impossible mission. He packed his boat with as much food as he could, and started rowing his boat towards the direction he thought was the nearest populated island. Rowing for what seemed to be weeks, slowly the food supplies were dissipating. He was eating the fruit he had taken with him when he laid his eyes upon a stairway with the brightness of a holy light. And as he was approaching the stairs, he started hearing a faint song in the background. He couldn't really make it out. Rowing much faster now because of curiosity, the song started getting louder until he came much closer and realized it was AC/DC's Highway to Hell. He came right up to the stairs which stretched out into the heavens. He put one foot on the stairs. The song started blaring. His body aged backwards to when he was 25. A motorcycle appeared beside him. He sat down on it and rode up the stairs with Highway to Hell in the background. Nearing the top of the stairs, he saw Jesus and God, both of them, with a couple of beers in their hands and 2 girls beside them both. And God said unto Paco, "Welcome to the promised land," as they all went to heaven together. And that was the story of Paco the Betrayed. Hi, I'm Cele. I'm the guy who made this video. That is to say, wrote the story and narrated it, so basically all of it. I would like you to subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Like the video if you actually liked it, not just for, any old reason. Share the video if you really liked it, and just watch the rest of my videos for fun. What could go wrong? Anyway, I'm the guy who does these stupid stories, and thanks for watching.